Hello everybody, thanks for joining me on this dogfight video. We have on the channel the F-100D from Grinnelli Designs. This is a single seat, single engine, multi-role Generation 1 fighter that will kill you in multiple imaginative ways if you do not treat it with the utmost of respect at all times. Something that is definitely been demonstrated in other channels. So today's dogfight is going to be against the MiG-21BiS, which is in multiple ways is more advanced than this airplane. So we are setting ourselves up for a very tough day already. Gonna take him here. When it comes to a target like the MiG-21BiS, this is going to be an enemy that is very like this aircraft is kind of turning the reversal around a bit, because with the MiG-21, that's more of an angles fighter when going up against like an F-4 or something. But in this case, the F-100 can actually turn and maneuver better at low speeds than the MiG can. So that's the angle that we're going to work here. With the F-100, because we don't have an advantage with the weapons, right? We've got pretty basic missiles versus the MiG-21BiS. We can't outrun him, we can't outspeed him, we can't outrate him. Maybe in some regimes, we can't really outrate him in any regime that's going to give us a sustained advantage. So we just have to point the nose, fight with the angles, dance on the rudders, and just point at this guy to the best that we can. So so that's what we're doing here, and it's a tough fight for the F-100, not only because the MiG can just power out and leave if he wants to, but the other challenge is the MiG-21. You know, it's a fearsome opponent, so we got to respect that. And not only that, in this kind of fight, we are fighting three enemies, which is always the case when you have an F-100 in a dogfight. The first enemy is your engine. If you bunt the nose down at any point in the fight, the engine will leave the fight and will leave you with an airplane that has no power. And if you're fighting as low as we are, you're done. You lose pretty much instantly, and if you're lucky, you might be able to eject. If you're not lucky, the Defense Department regrets to inform your survivors that you you died because you were stupid. So the MiG-21 comes up. At this point, we are at low speed in the F-100. I am jinking with the rudder. Everything you're seeing here is with the rudder. I am not using ailerons to do anything except control pitch, and as you can see, it's easy to get into a bit of a tumble maneuver here, which I didn't really try to do, but this is kind of the situation that we're at when the F-100 gets slow in your maneuvering. Again, we're using the rudder. We are not using the stick to do those maneuvers, because if I did, I really would go out of control, and that would be the end of the fight for me. So when it comes to maneuvering the F-100 in the low speed fight, you have to use the rudder. If you do not use the rudder in low speed fight, low speed maneuvering, it's just, you're going to get the same reaction that happens in low speed when you're landing, which is, you know, you go into the ground, which I thought the MiG-21 was going to do right here, but he doesn't. He actually recovers, annoyingly enough. So now we have to roll back in. Again, everything that I'm doing right now is just rudder. I am not using the stick to turn the airplane. I am using the rudder pedals to maneuver. I'm not sure what kind of setup you have, but if you've got one that, like, if your axis is messed up or something, get it sorted before you fly this airplane, because you will need the rudder to effectively maneuver at low speed. So the MiG, this is kind of the problem with the F-100 in a way. We see him cross on the nose. If I had been in another airplane, we could have pushed the nose and forced a merge, but nope, couldn't do that. And I had to pass that opportunity by, which kind of worked out okay, because he went into the ground anyway. So chalk it up. Maneuver kill. 1 me, 0 him. And I did it in the art of war way, meaning no ammunition fired. So conclusions here: if you get into the merge and you have no choice, make sure that you work the fight slow, stay on the rudder, do not use aileron to roll, and try to get an opportunity to get out of the fight as much as you can. Drive to a gun's kill. Don't try to use the AIM-9s unless the target is trying to extend and escape, which if you do your job right, they'll hopefully try to do, and that'll give you an opening to shoot. Hopefully this will help you guys out when you're fighting in multiplayer against more kinematically superior enemies. The F-100 is a solid jet, probably the most fun you can have for 40 bucks on a computer with your clothes on. So get it, enjoy it, work with it, you'll be able to win with it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Subscribe if you like my content. Catch you in the next video.